Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first Free the Trade live stream. I am super excited to finally connect with you guys all live and digitally. For those of you who don't know, we are Free the Trade. Free the Trade is all about providing free, accurate, educational information for both new investors and traders alike. I'm DK305007, and I'm going to be the host today. We've been trading for over 8 years, trying out all the different options and hedge fund strategies, studying them, and now we're going to be bringing them to you today live with our own SPY analysis. First of all, we've got a lot of stuff to cover today. This is the first time that we've done this, and so we ask that you do be please be patient with us. It's going to be a learning experience for sure. We're excited. We're happy. We've had such a great response from the community, and the feedback has just been phenomenal. So we've got a lot of stuff planned. We've got a lot of stuff to cover. But yes. All right. I think we're just going to jump straight into it here. First of all, I do want to do a check. Can everyone hear us okay? Can everyone see our visuals? How are things going out there? If you'll leave a chat or leave a comment just to let us know. And it looks like we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty here. We're going to take a second and we're going to try to address that before we get started. But then we'll be jumping straight into the market analysis. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here at Free the Trade. If you could give us some feedback there in the chat, just to let us know that you can hear us, everything seems to be going well on your end, we would appreciate that. All right, if you're just joining us, I'm DK305007, and this is Free the Trade. Today we're going to be going over SPY just like normal. We're gonna be talking about a lot of different things here. We're gonna be answering some of your questions, and I think we're gonna have a great time. Those of you who have level 3 options trading and or DK30507, how long did it take for you to get approved after the interview? Told verbally that I passed, but my account still says pending. Um, yeah, so basically, whenever they do that, it can sometimes take up to 24 hours, 48 hours maybe. It's been a while. But yeah, there's a generally a couple days of lag in between when you get approved verbally on the phone and when you can actually start beginning to trade those. However, if you haven't seen that within 24 to 48 hours, I recommend going into your settings on the Robinhood app, and you can actually message support and request that access again, and usually they'll just give it to you then and there on the chat. And by doing that, you can just go to your profile, three corners up on the three bars on the left-hand corner. You'll hit investing, and from there, you can check by scrolling down. It should say options level 3. If not, let's see here. I think you can go to the main screen. Yes. So if you go to the main account menu, the little person in the bottom right hand corner, you click on that. You hit the three bars in the top left hand corner and scroll down. You'll see the Robinhood support there at the bottom. You can hit contact support, send them a message, and see if they'll approve it. All right, now that that's taken care of, can you guys hear me out there well? I'm going to send a message in the chat and just make sure. Awesome, wonderful. Thank you, thank you. It looks like we finally got everything working. We were having some issues with the comments there, but now they're popping up. All right, so I guess let's just hop straight in and get started. So first thing I always like to do as soon as we hop onto the computer, we want to kind of get an outlook of what's going on for the day. What's the trend? What happened overnight? Kind of get a feel for how the market's going to go today. And so I'm just going to take you through kind of my process of doing that. Yeah, first I like to look at the overnight charts. So here I'm using Robinhood Legend. It's one of the browser-based charts that Robinhood app offers. It's kind of a neat little tool. It's not as intuitive or as detailed as some of the others. Good morning. Good morning. How big is the delay on the live? I don't think it's that big. Probably about 15 seconds or less. So I think we'll be okay. Okay, back to this. Robinhood Legend. So it's free. It's open source. If you have a Robinhood, then you automatically get this as well online, and it's a great tool. If you want a little bit more detailed information, then you can get in the app. This is just my basic setup here. We've got a 4-chart spread. I do the daily 1-minute chart on this one. This one is the daily 5-minute. This one is generally the daily 15-minute. Looks like I changed it for some reason. And this is the 30-minute on the weekly chart. And so this kind of gives me a good overview. These buttons up here allow you to assign a color, and whatever chart has that color means you can link them together so that if you change, say, the stock ticker, it'll change on all 4 charts. So that's a super cool feature. "10-second delay." Okay. It could be a little bit shorter than that because I'm not really, this is my first time doing this, so I'm not really watching the chat as much as I probably should be, but I'll definitely be taking a look at it. As I'll try to remind myself to keep on checking the chat. But yeah, cool thing about Robinhood Legend is you can add a lot of indicators. You can save different types of indicators. I've got one saved for the blank chart. I've got one for like a start out with just the RSI 14 and the MACD 12, 26, and 9. I also have my standard one, which would be the SMA or the simple moving average lines. And then I have the Bollinger Bands, which is one that we don't use a ton. We use it a little bit, but it's good just to have it saved there. So yeah, that's a little bit about Robinhood Legend. Um, and yeah, my first thing I do is just take a look at the overnight. So I'm gonna actually do that here. Let's see, 8:13. This is the morning. This was the close. Had an interesting gap here. And what I'm looking for basically when I'm doing this is I'm just getting a feel for the market. Um, we've got some highs. I'm gonna actually clear these drawings. We've got some highs. 613. That's interesting. All right. Now that we've kind of got a good look at the market, I'm just noticing, hey, we're in the middle of a buy cycle. We're in a sell cycle, about to enter the buy cycle on the 5 minutes. So my expectation is that, when the market opens in 15 minutes, we could potentially be in an up cycle. Looking at the 15-minute here, we could also be in a down cycle. So I'm going to be monitoring these just to kind of get a feel for the market. Because as you can see, each of these cycles are made up of 1 minute ticks on the 1 minute, 5 minutes sessions on the 5 minute, and then 15-minute sessions on the 15 minute. And so kind of what we're seeing is each of these candles here it corresponds to the time period of the chart. And so if you look here, this is 15, 30, 45, 60 minutes right here. So this is the last hour, these 4 ticks. And so if you know that time period and how they relate, you can kind of estimate, okay, so in about we've got about 5-10 minutes for this sell cycle to close, and then we'll start a new one right at market open. We'll start a buy cycle. So that's kind of a handy thing to understand, because if we're starting up or starting down, that'll give you a little bit of an edge on the market. Second thing I like to do after checking out the market for the day is I like to check news. I've got some queued up here, but I'm also going to open these. I personally use Yahoo Finance, Google News, and the Webull. And I like them for a couple different reasons. Yahoo's just really, really great. Gives you a lot of information. This is an article I posted in the chat earlier today that I kind of want to cover. Google is a big company. They've got a great reputation, so why not use them? And then Webull has a really interesting feature. And what Webull has, let's see here. They're not as easy to find and stuff, but you can find individual ticker news, and they tend to be really, really good at aggregating news articles from a lot of different sources. And if you have the app, I can't really show you what's going on my app screen, but if you have the app, some of you may wonder where I get the percentage of negative and positive and neutral news in the morning. I get that from Webull, but from their app. So if you go to this same page on the app, instead of having like the ticker, price level, percentage gains, things like that, if you go to the news, it'll tell you at the top, after examining the latest news, 23% is positive, 17% is negative, and the remaining 60% is neutral. So that gives us a little bit of an outlook for the day. Looks like things have settled down a little bit from yesterday. Mostly neutral news, which is good. That means we probably won't have a ton of major price swings today like we did yesterday, which I actually want to jump into that too a little bit later because I do know what happened yesterday. Okay. This article here, this is an interesting. You know what? Let's just cover what happened yesterday right now. So yesterday we saw, you know, a lot less volume than normal. Let me see if I can pull up yesterday on this chart here. Yeah, so yesterday we saw a lot less volume than normal, but then all of a sudden we saw this giant spike in the morning. Where was it? Yeah, this giant spike here in the morning, and we just rocketed up all day. Uh, big majors price swings. You see, I think we went all the way down to where are we? Do 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 do. Let me look on the minute chart. I'm having problems finding it there. Okay, yeah. All right, here we go. So this is yesterday. This is just a crazy ride for those of you who were in the chat yesterday. We started way up with a big gap. We dropped down way low, all the way down to like 609, and then we continued to rocket up and down, back and forth all day. And if you'll notice here on the bottom, look at all these little volume bars. We didn't have a ton of volume yesterday. It was really low, considerable, or considering the normal for SPY. I mean, super low volume, but a lot of volatility because of that volume, and then also because of what's in this article, and we're going to cover that in a second. But ended the day right about where we started, but it was just a really wild ride. We ended up canceling our trade midway through just to be safe, and I think that was the best plan because I really feel like we could have seen a lot deeper negative numbers and maybe even ended on a loss had we stayed in the trade. So it was wild, but why? Yes, we're gonna get there. Market's all-time highs come with a load of anxiety. A lot of times, whenever there's a lot of swing up and down, um, people get nervous. People stop buying into the stock market. They stop selling, and things really begin to be volatile because the less people in the market, the more volatile it is. Because think about it. You know, if you have 30 people and they're all buying and selling, you know, there's a lot of buyers, there's a lot of sellers, you have a pretty consistent trading. Now, if you have two people, because, you know, 28 of those went home, you have two people left and they're buying and selling. Well, what if the one doesn't want to buy? Now you have this volatility. It's like, no, I'm not going to buy until it's 611, 612. And so now you have this major price swing. And then the next person comes by and he's like, oh, well, I'll buy it at 608. And then it drops all the way down to 608. And there's these huge gaps in the price where it goes really high and it goes really low just because there's not the liquidity that comes with that extra volume in those buyers and sellers. So the reason for that is because what's called the FOMC meeting notes. So back in, I believe it was the 28th or the 29th of January, Jerome Powell, who is the head of the Fed, he released he held the live meeting where he released the rates and such that were going forward. Now, that caused a lot of that causes a lot of market volatility. There's a lot less trading on those days. You can see big dips in the stock market on those days, and basically it just kind of gives an outlook on the country's economic status. You know, if we're doing good, if we're doing bad, what they're going to do with interest rates. Are they going to cut them? Are they going to increase them? Are they going to leave them alone? And so generally you'll see an impact from that on the day of, and maybe even that week, a couple days. However, what we didn't consider yesterday is that at 3 weeks after that meeting, they released the meeting notes, where you have like a detailed report on everything, and so that would have been yesterday. And so when those notes were released, probably somewhere around 10 a.m., that's when we saw that huge volatility spike. Um, the market really reacted to that, and that is something to consider, you know, going forward and such. The FOMC days are particularly volatile. They're particularly dangerous and risky to trade on. You can make a ton of money if you successfully like predict the outcome of the market, but at the same time it can go up a whole lot and it can go down a whole lot, and it's just really not a great day to trade. And traditionally, I prefer not to trade on those days just due to the high risk. So that's kind of what happened yesterday. They released the meeting notes. There wasn't a meeting, but it was the 3 weeks after the previous meeting, so they released it. The next FOMC, let's see here. I think it's in March. Let's see here. Yeah, so 28th, 29th, and then the meetings release, boom, February 19th, 2025, 3 weeks after. So March 18th through 19th, probably not a good idea to trade on those days. Just let it rest, and then we will 3 weeks after that we'll need to remember, hey, they're going to release the minutes and the meetings, and we'll leave that alone. All right, now jumping back into the pre-market information. So we check the news, check the outlook of the market. I also really like to keep an eye on this fear and greed index. If you have the live stream pulled up, the other live stream, the Market Pulse live stream, um, it keeps a monitor on this as well as the SPY chart, and so it's a really handy indicator. This kind of gives us an idea of what the investor sentiment is in the market, and how this works is they take a bunch of different variables, things like um, the volume of option contracts and such, the all the different things that play into it. The bid and ask call, or the bid and ask prices on certain stocks that make up a large part of the stock market. Um, Junk bond demand, which is, are people willing to buy riskier investments? And they take all of this information and they run it through an algorithm, and they come out with this indicator here, which is the fear and greed index. Um, and this just basically gives an average sentiment of the market. Do we think things are good? Do we think things are bad? Or are we neutral like we are now? So recently we've been pretty neutral to fearful, um, just based on policies and tariffs. And this isn't a politics. That's good to know. I actually did not know that. One of our chats says that Webull has a market sentiment indicator, and it's currently at 46. That's good to know. Generally, this one will update more once the market opens. I know Webull and Robinhood both track overnight data. However, the problem with overnight data is that it's not the official numbers from the Nasdaq, and so because of that, it's probably the internal order books for Robinhood or the internal order books for Webull. And while it can give like a general sample of what the market expects, generally those are going to be localized just to the overnight data that they have access to. So when Robinhood and Webull and the markets open and Nasdaq releases those numbers, boom, all of a sudden you have the actual the quotes, and I'm sure this will update as well. But when in pre-market and before market opens, we we tend to not be able to see all that information fully. So it's just like a sample size from their order books. That being said, my two biggest indicators here is obviously the overall fear and greed index. I like to see what it closed at. I like to see the historical data. And I use this number generally as like a baseline for the day. So we're about 48 right now. We'll check it again once market opens and see. But then the next thing I like to look for is the put and call options. So this is just the volume and the 5-day average put to call ratio. And it just really tells us what the market expects. And as you can see here, it's skewed pretty heavily. That means the market is pretty bullish right now, which we've seen with the amount of I mean, SPY's at an all-time high. It's the first time it's ever hit some of the numbers that we're seeing. And so we can see that generally the market goes up anyways, so this isn't really anything too surprising. But say it's up here, or say it's up here, that means everyone's really, really bearish, and they think that, hey, SPY's going to go down, so they're buying a ton of puts. And this is just a good indicator of, kind of the general sentiment. All right, now that we've taken a look at that, we know it's not an FOMC day. We've taken a look through the news. There's nothing really huge popping out right now. We'll just jump straight back into the charts, and market opens in about 3 minutes. I'm gonna open this. I'm gonna take a second to answer questions now, if you guys have any, about any individual tickers or just about free the trade in general, about the market, really anything you have. Let's hear it. Um, Trinix, he says, "Are you looking for puts or calls today?" Um, that's hard to say. We've had a bullish run. Um, it's hard to say honestly right now. We want to see how it opens. We want to see what the trend for the day is going to be, and then we'll make that decision. So yeah, this is just the pre-market, and so really, we wanna know what the solid directional trend is before we make that decision. Going back to that article on Yahoo Finance, um, the market's all-time highs come with a load of anxiety. This is the morning brief. I can see and you can feel the anxiety in the market just with the low volume and the ups and downs. A lot of people are worried and a lot of people are nervous right now, and so it's an interesting time to be trading. Is it a bad time? Is the stream on ultra low latency, minimal delay? Yes, I believe so. But yeah, um, generally when we hit a new all-time high, we are looking for the pullback and the market correction as SPY fills in that lower gaps, it finds new supports and then starts back up to the new or to make a new all-time high. The fact that we've hit an all-time high and haven't really pulled back, but then hit another all-time high is a little bit nerve-wracking. Um, just because you're waiting and expecting that pullback and we haven't seen it yet. And so part of you is like, yeah, I'd love to jump on board with this bull run, but at the same time, I don't want to be stuck with calls when the market finally does hit that pullback and begins to go down. And so it's one of those things that you have to take one day at a time and just kind of try to monitor. 8:29 a.m. The market's 1 minute from opening. Looks like we are going to open. Looks like we're going to open in the green in a buy cycle. 5 minutes about to transition into a bicycle as well. Not a bicycle, but a bicycle. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into this chart here. I'm gonna go. Generally, I go with a 30-minute chart on the weekly. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna mark our trends or our low prices and our high prices. So this right here is gonna be our lowest price, and that's at 598.51. Okay, and let's go find our highest price for the week. And that's going to be right up here. Highest price was 612.62. Let's mark that. I'm sorry, I said 612. It was 613.10. 613.23. My goodness, I'm having a hard time right here. All right, so we got those marked. This is our general high to low for the week here. Now we're just going to go through and we're going to try to find some support levels. This looks to be a support right here. There's a previous resistance over here, and now then it was a support. It bounced over, continued up. Let's go look for the next one over here. Looks like somewhere around here. We have multiple candles bouncing off, multiple candles bouncing off. So that right here around 609.32. We'll drop it a little bit. So maybe somewhere around there. As you can see, we push through, bounce, 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 bounce again, and then head on up. See, a little bit of a resistance there, but we broke it with 2 bounces. Another support. Now that we have all these mapped out, we have a pretty good idea. These are going to be our main ones we're dealing with here today. This support and this resistance here. And kind of what we want to do is take the first little bit of the market and just kind of watch and see how SPY reacts to those. So right here we saw that it just bounced off a little bit earlier today. So we're going to be watching for this bottom movement. We're going to, it might be here, but taking a look back, it could also be this one, or it could be one of this. There really isn't a strong support here today. This one was a previous resistance, which can be a support, but there really isn't a strong one, and that's a little nerve-wracking because when there isn't a strong bottom support like that, other than this one right here, if it hits down here and it doesn't bounce, then the next time that it'll probably bounce is going to be off like the 602.47. So we could see a major downswing today. And so we're going to just watch for a little bit and just monitor. And that's generally the best plan. I am going to pull up the live stream too while we're doing this, actually. I think I can do this a little different. Okay. Just to see here. All right, doesn't look like the fear and greed index has changed at all since we've opened. That's a good news. But it also is a little bit bad news too. If it hasn't changed much, then it's hard to tell right now what the trend's going to be. Is it going to be up or is it going to be down? If it's just sitting at 48, and there we go, we drop to 47. So it looks like we're probably going to have a little bit of a downtrend today. And as you can see in the market, we're already seeing the first candles dropping. Let me see here. Jump to our charts. Boom. And yeah, we've dropped quite a bit. Here's where we're at for the day. At this point, it's just kind of a waiting game, watching game. One of the cool things is that you can, using these indicators like the RSI 14 and the MACD, you kind of have a really good picture of what's going on in the market. When we opened, we dropped. We entered a sell cycle pretty immediately. RSI dropped way below 30. I say way below. It's 25, but that's pretty low. So right now it's oversold. That means too many people dumped it, and we're probably going to see we're going to see like an increase in buying. And yeah, at this point, it's really just a waiting game. We want to see how they respond to that support. So I wouldn't place a trade at this time. It's always safer to just watch and wait. But for whoever asked earlier, calls or puts today, it looks like it's going to be a put kind of day. That is actually the coolest thing. Someone just sent in a picture in the Discord where they're showing their, I guess it might be a Tesla, but basically they've got their car set up, and on half of the screen they've got the free the trade stream. That is amazing. We love that. Although, be careful you don't crash if the stock market crashes. All right, we're entering into a little bit of a down cycle in the 30-minute. We might we might are we might be establishing a new support down here. Let's take a look on this one. All right, here we are. Could potentially be establishing a support right here. We're going to let that play out for a little bit. I think we might. As you can see on the histogram on the MACD, we had our sell cycle, and now we're beginning to come out of this sell cycle. Once these two down here, which are the moving averages, once these cross, it'll indicate that we're entering into a buy cycle again, and we can expect that the price will continue to push up. And so we'll just sit and watch for now. Generally, when we're at this section, like the half side of a cycle, it's going to trade up and down, but kind of sideways too, until it makes that transition, and then it'll really start ramping up again. So we've probably got maybe 3 to 5 minutes before we see a change. Any swing trades for today? We can definitely talk about swing trades. Actually, right now would be a really good time to talk about it, because we have two options. We can see, we can look here. Yeah, so this is a historical, as you can see, way back in a while back, that was generally around an area of support. So looks like we're retracing that and making that into a new area of support for today. But yeah, swing trades. Generally, what I like to do with swing trades, instead of doing a day and a week chart, I like to do the month and the week chart. That just gives us a better understanding and cuts out some of the noise here. So here's the week chart for the 30-minute interval. We already mapped out everything on this. We've got some strong supports here. So I would say a 608.99 and a 16 or 613 are our two outer limits. Let's take a look at the month. Now, because we're doing a swing trade, we're going to be holding it for more than 1 day. It's better to go out to a longer time frame. So I like to do a monthly time frame rather than a weekly for the bottom. So there's the bottom there. There's the top. So we've got this kind of area here. We got strong support here. Pretty strong support there again. I don't think it's going to hit 590.47. However, it could. That was only February 3rd. That's not that long ago. Let's take a look back at the week again. That just depends. Let's take another look at the fear and greed indicator. That's what we want to see right now. All right. Fear and greed index, it's gone down 47, so we have a little bit of a downtrend right now. I don't know. I think a safe bet would be to do like for a swing trade like this, we could do like a credit spread above the top line. So if we launch a credit spread, right up here, around 616 or something like that, we can expect that SPY is not going to hit that new high. Although it's hard to say if we will or not. But with us hitting two new all-time highs, it's kind of a that's kind of a out of the ordinary for that, or for the market. And so we could put something up above that. And basically what that does is we sell calls up here. People buy the calls. If it never hits that amount, the stock price stays below, we keep the entire price of the entire premium amount for that call. So that's an option. That'd be a decent swing trade. Another swing trade is if we drop down hard and we rediscover the support at this level here, we could set up like, a week put credit spread. I would probably push it out a little bit further, so maybe down at this support level or even at this support level. It would be less premium. However, it would be a lot safer because we're expecting a pullback from the all-time high, and we don't want to get caught with put credit spreads right here and it bounced through, and then we lose that trade. So I would give it a little more room on the downside. But yeah, 8:45. Market's been open for about 15 minutes. We're still discovering the trend here. Looks to be a downtrend, and now we're really pulling. Yeah, it's not looking good. This is probably going to be the SPY correction we were looking for. Now, let's talk about yesterday. So the trade we put in yesterday was a really good trade. Right now we would be in the money 100%. However, I still believe it was a good call to cut it short because it had turned around against our stop losses and we had no certainty that the market would react how it's reacting today. We suspected, but generally it's better to cut those losses shorter rather than, gamble that it'll play out better. And so we stuck to the trading plan, which I would call a successful trade. But here we go. We're dropping quite a bit now. One thing that's interesting to note is that we've dropped under the 200 moving average, simple moving average. That's this line right here. And basically that just tells us what the average price for SPY was over the last 200 periods. Whenever we push past that support, generally what happens is SPY will bounce off the 200 moving average. However, once we get underneath it, it'll start bouncing off of it in the opposite way. So it'll go down and then it'll come back up, hit the 200 and keep going down until it can finally break through. And so the 200 moving average, simple moving average, kind of acts as a dynamic support and resistance level based on which side of the price or which side of it the price is on. Right now, we've passed underneath it, so we're going to see a drop. Now let's talk a little bit about what we're gonna or what I'm expecting to see with SPY today, um, over the course of the whole day. Like right now, of course, we've got our normal buy and sell cycles. We're trading under the 200 moving average, but I think we're definitely at the point where SPY's correcting from its all-time high, um, and that's really a good thing, not a bad thing. When it corrects from the all-time high, it builds a new support level underneath, and then it uses that support level that it builds as a way to push up to a new high. And so when it pulls back like this, it's not anything to be concerned about generally. It's just it's a natural movement of the market. So I would be more concerned if it went up and up and up and up and never had that pullback because it's coming some point. And once again, you don't want to be stuck at the top when it falls out from underneath you to strengthen up that support level at the bottom. So this is just a support strengthening move today. Look at the volume. Look at the volume here. If you look on the top left right here where the numbers are, you see V861.99K. So there is 861,000 orders being placed in this candle right here. If we go back to yesterday, we were trading 10,000, 13,000, 20,000. Like this is a big one, 83,000 in comparison to 861,000. So you see what I mean by the volume is like really, really low. I would much rather have the liquidity of, almost a million orders per minute than, 14,000 orders a minute, because you're going to get better fill prices, things are going to be filled faster, uh, and you have the agility to move in and out of the market. And on the 1 minute chart, it looks like we're starting to close a little bit here. So we'll want to definitely watch that. This could develop into a deeper downtrend. It could develop into like a buy cycle. If it develops into a buy cycle, we might have a new bottom support. If it falls through and continues to fall, which it might, then we'll know that we're still correcting down. And if you remember on this chart, we talked about how we talked about how there wasn't a strong support level down here. We could potentially see a deep drop today, which is, we'll just see. But we're looking at a 608.99, so about a 609. That's, or maybe a 609.55 is where we're expecting a potential support somewhere around here. So I'm gonna mark that too, just to, yeah, somewhere around here is where we're expecting that pullback. Boom, and here we see it. We've pushed through the SMA 200 on the 5 minute chart, and yeah, I think we're going down. We're going down quick. If we go back to the 1 minute, we probably open back up on the MACD. Let's see. Yeah, we're probably going to open up more on here and just continue to steadily go down all day. So yeah, it looks like it's a put kind of day. I'm not going to recommend a trade, but we do have a clear direction for the day. It's down. A lot of times you can get a better entry if you'll wait till about 9:30 to 9:45, because generally it'll make its solid trend for the day. It'll pull back. You can enter your orders and such, and then still get a good fill, rather than trying to risk it at the morning opening candles. I probably am not going to enter a trade today, because I entered swing trades yesterday for today and for tomorrow. And so actually, let's take a look at those. All right. So here we are right now. We're already up $80 today. And let's see if we can find my positions. We had done swing positions, and I didn't close that. I closed the day trade yesterday. I didn't close the swing positions because I felt like we still had a good chance on those. We never hit the stop losses on them. So, boom. Positions. All right. Boom. So here's our SPY positions for today. We're currently in a 611, 612 call credit spread, and a 614 or 613, 614 call credit spread. And so what we've done, if we go to the charts, way up here at 613 and 614, and here at 611, 612, we put in call credit spreads. We expected the market to recorrect. So we sold those positions. We sold them at its high, and now because the market is going down, we're in the money on those. and we'll be making quite a bit. Oh, and here we go. Here is the testing for the supports at 609. And yeah, it looks like we're going to push all the way down to that 609.50 at least. Probably we might push through it. It just depends. We'll just have to watch. But yeah, these were the positions I put in. Another position you could put in would be like a 611 put or a 612 put, a 613 or 614 put. Those are buy. Those are ones you have to buy. I would buy them for a week out at minimum, if not 15 days. Just and boom, we're through our 650 and still testing. I personally think we're not going to stop until at least here. We're probably going to push through that one too. There's just not a ton. There's just not a ton of, yeah, not a ton of support levels for it. So I'm having a feeling we're going to push through everything today. All right, we're bouncing back up. Looks like we tested it right here where we called it pretty close. I mean, look at that. We're what, 2 cents off? We're 3 cents off. So yeah, we called that support pretty well there. Now we just need to wait and see how it responds to that support. I keep forgetting to look at the chat. Danny, yes, 3 weeks after the FOMC meetings, do not trade on that day when they release their meeting notes. Or if you do, just remember higher risk and be sure to exit your trades if they turn against you pretty quick. So 609.35, we're starting to turn back around here a little bit, trading a little sideways. I think we may have found our support. Yeah. So at this point, we've got a bottom and we've got a top now. We know kind of what's going to happen today. Unless we have a market catalyst, we're in between these two levels here. We could place trades safely, really not until like 605. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be, that's a level. I wouldn't place trades at these two levels here. I would place trades around 614, 613, 614, and then the other bottom limit would probably be probably honestly it's probably 602.47. It's probably 602.47. I just I don't know that I would feel comfortable placing it at a 605 right now. That's or a 604. It's just I don't know, it's hard to say. Let me see here what we got. Let's open the option trader. Let's change this over to SPY. All right, let's take a look at what we have here. 0 day. All right, so yeah, 605. Let's look at the delta on this. I'm okay with the 605s, but I mean, the 608, the 40 delta or the 33 delta, I don't know how I feel about that. I would be okay with about a 612, 611, 612 here. and I don't generally trade off of the delta. I just kind of I I've been trading and I have the experience of trading these options and stuff, that I kind of know what strike price is going to correspond with like a 40 delta, for instance. Like I can go look at this chart here, and I know we just looked at it, but in my mind, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, if I look at this, I'm probably going to see a 40 delta at like, for the put credit spreads, a 40 delta is going to be somewhere around like a 608 or 609, and then like a 611, 612. And a 40 delta, you can look at as kind of being like a 40% chance or a 40% probability that that is going to be in or out of the money based on whichever option or whichever side of it you're on. And so you want to take higher probability trades instead of low probability trades. And so yeah, for here, let's see, a 40 delta. Oh yeah, 609, between a 609 and a 610 is a 40 right now on the call side. And then over here, 40 delta is going to be about a 608. And we're dropping. Look, we're dropping way fast. 608. This is crazy here. Boom. Yeah, look what's going on here. We've pushed down. We're at 608.64 now. This is wild. But it's also kind of what we expected. We'd gone way too high, and we hadn't really ever tested the bottom supports. And so this is pretty much what I expect. I expected this yesterday, to be honest. But for some reason, when they released the FOMC meeting notes, there was low volatility, and someone took advantage of the low volatility, and SPY pushed up a lot higher than it probably should have. Um, but this is what I was expecting yesterday, and had we got this yesterday, we would have made a lot of money. We would have probably made 100%. I would have probably kept my trades open all day and basically recouped 100% of the option premium. So we didn't do that. We did good in stopping it. I think we did a swing trade yesterday for today, so it would have been, it would, at this point it would be in the money, but it was better that we cut it short. So I think we did good here. And at this point in time, the swing trades from Friday, I want to just show you where we're at. We're up $117.29 on those swing trades. So these expire Friday here. This one expires today. I'm probably going to leave that open. I don't really see a 611 or 612 return. So I think we should be okay there. If you wanted to get on a trade, you could potentially wait until it pulls back up or recovers. Otherwise, you could you could try to do puts or something right now. I'm not going to do that since I've already got my swing trades in. I'm just going to wait and be patient. Also, there's the fact of the matter that I have used up, when I closed my positions yesterday, I used up my third day trade of the week, and so I really don't have any more day trades left. And so I'm just going to rely on those swing trades to bring me through. I could potentially close this one and then open a new one for tomorrow, though. A trade I would do right now. I thought, actually, so I was in a little bit of a dilemma this morning because, as you can see, I have 4 accounts on. It's only showing through. I have 4 accounts on Robinhood right now, and so like I want to trade with the $30 options account just to prove, hey, this can be done. But at the same time, I wanted to add extra money, and I was like, dude, I want to add in, like, just throw $200 in just so I could do another trade today. But I also want to keep like the 30-day option challenge, or the $30 option challenge, true to its $30. And so right now we're recovering. I would probably wait at this time because I don't want to get in under this 607.45. I don't want to get in here because I do expect it to bounce back up. Then again, if this is the bottom support, I want to see it tested one more time, and we have plenty of time to do that. So I'd probably enter my trade about 9:30 a.m. today, and yeah, what we're going to do right now is we're going to wait for the recovery because we got a 30 minutes till we enter a trade. We're going to see what the new top is. We're going to enter at that top, and then as it drops again later this afternoon, we'll profit off that late day drop. I hope that if I didn't do swing trades, yeah, so I could do a 0 DTE option trade today. I could have just now entered a put credit spread and be profitable probably about 5% right now. But my biggest thing is I want to see it go up and see what the top is. Since it's a downward trend, I don't want to trade against the trend and try to catch profit on it up because it's probably going to be shorter since it's a downward day. And so what I'll do right now is I'm waiting. It'll go up. And once it makes that turnaround and starts falling again, I'm going to put in call credit spreads above it or buy a put above that price. And just as it plummets, I'll profit. If you're buying premium or you're buying a long call or a long put, I recommend going out and doing a 1 DTE instead of a 0 DTE, just because you kind of find a sweet spot in being safe from the theta or the time decay, and then also having enough profitability or enough room for it to profit. So you could open, let's see, right now if you wanted to trade against it, you would open a call. We just hit a bottom at 608, 607.02. So you could buy like a long call 607. That would be, this is going to be going up a little bit for now. You can see. But as soon as it turns back around, these calls are just going to be absolutely obliterated. So probably not the safest trade, but you could probably make a small percentage gain off of it. And probably the 607 buy. But honestly, the best bet's going to wait till it hits that top support and then buy one of these. Because these, look at these. And actually, we'll do the 1 DTs. The 1 DTs, so for tomorrow, February 21st, expiry, these are going to be going up quite a bit. Boom. So you can see these are already gaining. You can just watch them. As it goes up, they'll get cheaper. You buy them, and then they'll gain when it goes back down this afternoon. So I would probably be buying these things. Just because these, it's against the trend. These probably just aren't worth it. So that would be my, oh, and if I'm buying a 1 DTE trade or a long call, long put, if I'm buying that, I'm definitely going to be buying that and closing it same day. So probably close it this evening, 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock, somewhere around then. The 0 DTEs, I like to be out of by 10:30, 12 p.m. at the latest. I do not hold those because theta decay just takes over exponentially in the afternoon. And even if you win on that position and you're right, you'll probably still lose money on it. So not worth it in my opinion. That's why I do the spreads, because I can sit in them for longer, or I'll do a farther out contract. All right, I'm going back to the chat. Is there any other questions? Anything else? Tiny gains compared to others here. Let's take a look. No, man, that's good stuff. You made $89, and you literally said it. You sat down and you did it on your phone, man. That's awesome. So congratulations, man. I'm gonna take another quick peek at the. Let's take a quick peek at. Yeah, see, and now we're down to 45. We started at 48. We can see that it's obviously a downtrend today. So yeah, I would let it recover and then put puts or call credit spreads. What price do you think it will go up to in 20 minutes? That's a good question. Let's look at the 15-minute chart. All right, so I'm gonna go to the day chart. Actually, let's go to the week chart and pull back out. All right, so we're bouncing around here. We have a little bit of a support down here. We don't really have another support until right here. So we've got two scenarios that's going to happen here. Either we come back up here to the 608.99 or the 609 and it bounces off the 609 and keeps going down, or it's going to come up to, let me see, let's hit the 1 day. Where is the 200? Okay. Personally, I think it's going down to 604.98 later. This is a pullback period, so I'm going to figure out. Hard to say, hard to say. Looks like we're already almost done with this buy cycle. So honestly, you might, yeah, it looks like 608 or 609 is going to be the highest price. So you might actually even buy in and aim for like a 605, I believe. Let me look here on this chart. Yeah. Yeah, the 605, because right here we got the 200 SMA. We could see a bounce here. And so that could be the bottom, the 605. Since we're pushing through all these other supports, it's just, why 604? Because 604 is a support. If you look back here, this is where it's bounced previously. You see, it pushed through, come back down, and that's where it bounces back up. Over here, it's bouncing right around the 604 level. And so 604 is a major historical, or 605 is a historical support for it. And so since it's pushed through these other historical supports, like this one right here, we've pushed through this one now. The next one that it's probably going to bounce off of is going to be this one. Because if you go back in time, you see the last one was here. We pushed through it. So the next one is going to be here. If we push through that one, the next one's going to be down here at 602. And so I'm saying this is probably our next support here. Now for the actual strike price of the call, if we're trading at 609 at this point, we've got a new level above us at a 609. So probably like a 610, 611, which I think is going to be about a would that be like a 30 or 35 delta or something like that? Let's check. All right, so our 609, 610s. So a 50 delta right now on the put side. I think I was thinking on the call side. Yeah, which would be about a 40 delta. 35 to 40 delta. Yeah. You could buy a put. You could buy a put at like 609. I think that's a fair price. And I think that would be profitable. I would do it once again 1 DTE out instead of 0, just because you'll have a little bit longer to be profitable on it. When buying a put or a call, long or put, I'm using the simple moving averages, so the SMA, and this is my setup here. The 9, the 21, and the 200. So I've got the 9, 21, and 200. So you could, but take a look at this. Let me just show you something here. All right. So look, you see how it's super, super angled down, super, super angled down, super angled down. But then as we get closer over here, it starts angling back up again. Right here is a recovery period. And so you can see we're starting to build this recovery and the support level. So generally what happens is it'll go up and it'll bounce off this 200 EMA. So what I'm expecting is that this right here comes up to here, bounces back off of here, and then goes down. And so if it meets, you know, depending on where it meets, it's going to meet somewhere in the 610 to 611 range out here before reversing. And so I think that if we wait probably 15 to 20 minutes, we could potentially see that buy cycle, because you can see we're in the middle. We're starting to build a buy cycle on this area right here. We've entered in. We've got a crossover. We're going to go up a little bit. We don't know how far, but right now we've got a good chance of hitting this golden cross. Once we hit the golden cross, we'll go up, bounce off the 200 SMA, and then we'll sink again. And I think the best chance of profitability is once it goes up, try to buy at the top. And they say don't try to time the market. I personally don't agree with that. If you're going to be a trader, you need to learn how to time the market. If you're going to be an investor, then don't time the market, just dollar cost average in and hold for long periods. But if you're going to trade the market, you need to learn how to read the market, how to technical trade, and how to time it. And so right now we're waiting for it to go up. So we'll sit back and we'll watch. And yeah, once it builds that bottom support, goes up, finds the top support, we'll buy at the top support, and then profit as it drops again. So here we go. We're entering the golden cross right now. I would say probably another candle or two. I like to see it confirmed by 2 candles. We'll see if that happens today or not. Sometimes it just moves so quickly that you need to you just kind of need to step back and be like, okay. Another thing you can do is check in on the 30 seconds. So you can see we've got a pretty strong uptrend. We've already hit the golden cross. It's confirmed by multiple candles, so I think we're good to go. So at this point, I just watch and look for the top. $609 put now? Not now. We want to time it at the top. Because right now, $609 put's going to be pretty high. As we go up, if you look at the options on the $609 puts, watch the price. They're going down. So the longer we wait, the cheaper we can buy it for. And then when the price goes down of SPY, the price of that put will just rocket through the roof and we'll make a lot of money. So right now, when we went to this screen, it was $1.44. Now they're $1.26. Now they're $1.22. The longer we wait, the cheaper we can get it for. So as this goes up, puts get cheaper. Once we hit the top and it turns around, puts are going to skyrocket in price. So I would wait. And here we go. We're pushing up pretty good, pretty strongly. Let's take a look at the 30 seconds again. Okay. We've got a pretty strong recovery. We might have hit a top here, or it might. It's hard to say because we didn't hit all the way to a 70 RSI, which is generally when the sell-off comes. But you can see that we're still we're finding a new level of resistance up here. And so we want to watch how this plays out. If we can't get a push a little bit higher here, we might buy in now. So we just wait and see. We'll just wait and see. Because right now it's hitting 60. Let's see, it's hitting 608.83, and it's having problems getting past that. Okay, looks like we may have just pushed past it on the 30 seconds. Let's push out just a little bit here for the 1 minute. See how it's reacting. So yeah, we're still trying to push past that level. Can't really get there quite yet. Probably a likelihood we push past it in another 2 or 3 candles. So yeah. All right, we got a little bit higher. Just really, really pushing against that level. Can't seem to break it yet. And it looks like we've broken it. Maybe. We'll see. Just about. And it's still finding such heavy resistance right there at that level. Let's go a little bit faster. Let's go into the 1 second ticks and just watch what's going on here. Okay, so there it goes. It's broken through now. And if we go back to the 30 seconds, you can see it's gotten past that level now. It'll probably continue to go up for a little bit, but it's just having such a hard time because it's fighting against the trend. So we could have bought calls down here and maybe made like a 1% or 2% gain, but because it's such heavy resistance and pushing it downwards, it's just not going to be as profitable as waiting for it to get up to the top and then buying puts on the way down. It's just so much a less risky trade, and it's a lot safer, and it's a lot more profitable generally. All right, and we are through. We have our golden cross. Now we're going to wait. We need to figure out what the new top is going to be. Let's go ahead and jump over to our week chart or our day chart on the 30 minutes and try to figure that out. Okay, we're through the 609. our next level of, let's see, probably somewhere around here, honestly, because those others look like a localized resistance. So boom, I'm thinking somewhere around here. If we can buy at 610, you could buy a 610 put, you could buy a 611 put, but if we can get past this down here, then we might come up and hit this area. So yeah, let's watch, see what happens. And if you notice while we're watching the 1 minute chart and we're hitting this little area of upward movement, we're ending a sell cycle on the 5 minute chart. And so if we hit I assume what's going to happen here is we'll hit it on the 1 minute chart, we'll hit a buy cycle, we'll end it, we'll enter a sell cycle, we'll enter a new buy cycle. So 2 cycles from now, which could be about, these are longer cycles. Uh, it could be anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes out. And if this hits a buy cycle, as this hits a buy cycle, what we're going to see is this shooting up, and we're going to go up quite a bit, probably up to like 611.74, which is where the SMA is. We might even go over that a little bit, just because there's just going to be just this enormous push upwards as SPY kind of recovers. And so if we can time it right and we wait a little bit longer, we could even get a higher fill, because right now we're starting to come down on the volume. Looks like we've established a new 609 resistance level. Right now we're probably going to enter a new sell cycle. But in 2 more cycles from now, once this closes more, if this doesn't just do this whole number where it goes and then kind of closes, then opens back up, if this doesn't do that, then we're going to see a strong upward trend, and we're really going to find out where that top resistance is and have a really good fill price for puts. If you can wait, I would recommend it, because I think it'll be much more profitable and have a better trade. If you can't wait, you could do it now. You just might see red midway through the trade before seeing green. No, Danny, doing a 1 DTE and selling it the next day does not count as a day trade. However, if you're going to hold that, that's called a swing trade. If you're going to hold that, I personally would recommend doing a little bit farther out than a 1 DTE. Maybe doing a 3 day or like a 7 day. Or honestly, if you want to do swing trading, you can step out and do like 30 to 35 to 45 days, and you'll have a whole lot more time to see those in the money. It's going to be a little more expensive, but at the same time, it could be worth it to you, because you have to manage it less. If you have 30 days, you can manage it, once a week rather than having to do it every day. But yeah, here is the first recovery from the dip. Also, I just want to say, you guys are super supportive and awesome. This has been incredible. There's been such an outpouring of support and stuff for the community, and it's been awesome. I didn't set out to like start something like this, but now that we have it, I'm blown away. You guys are awesome. I also have to say that doing this out loud and verbally is a whole lot easier than trying to do all the screenshots and stuff. And so, to whoever suggested the live stream, thank you. It's been great. Well, I appreciate you guys trusting and being willing to learn. I know some communities like to give out, hey, this is what you need to do. I don't want to do that. I personally think that's not beneficial at all. And so my goal is to equip everyone with the tools they need in order to make those decisions themselves. give them the tools they need in order to read the markets, read the charts. And I'm only trading SPY, but a lot of other people in here trade the individual equities, and I want you guys to be able to take this knowledge and make money rather than lose it. So this is applicable in any, like if we go to Lunar, if someone give me a ticker. I guess we can take one from let's do a live research on one of them. Why not? Bear with me 1 second. We're trying to find this. There it is. Stock analysis. Boom. Um. Okay. Let's look at both of those then. I was looking through our research list, but might as well do this. BYND. We'll start with that one. All right. Let's take a look at this. Okay. Once again, we have our. Let's look for the week. Our weekly. I like to use the 30-minute chart on the weekly. Right now, we're currently in a little bit of a downward trend, a sell cycle, if you will. Looks like we may be recovering. There's probably going to be more downside, so I wouldn't buy in now until these are ready to cross again, because it's such a steep downward trend. I think we've got a little bit more room. Plus, you can see here where we would have been able to buy in. I think we're going to go down and reach those levels. Looking at the weekly, boom, we've got lows, we've got highs. Let's find some support levels. Support level there. We've got support levels. That's a support right here. We've got more support levels somewhere around here is a support level. Probably right here where this top was is now going to be the bottom here, unless it's right here. So I think I'm going to put it there because I think that makes more sense. We have another general support level here, but we've broken through it, so that doesn't matter. So right now we've got this spread for the week. If I were to want to buy this, I would probably try to get a closer entry down here. However, if I could enter, say, like at 375, I think 375 would be a great entry. And this is without knowing who BYND is, what they do. This is just straight off reading the charts. I would try to get for a 375 entry. I would want to go, let's see, on a month chart. Let's look at the month. I'm going to go monthly 4 hours. We're at a new high. Yeah, I think 375 is a fair entry price. And I think what exit would I look for? I think a 575, because somewhere around a 550 to 575, I think it has the potential to hit this up here. If it has strong financials. I don't know the financials of this company. I don't know what they do. But just looking at the charts, a 375 entry with a potential like a 525, 550 exit is a good trade, because that gives us all this upside right here. And I think we can. It looks like it's gathering support down here at the bottom. I think it has a good chance. I don't know why it's gone down. I don't know the financials once again, and this isn't a recommendation for this stock. But based off of the charts and stuff, I think there's some good profit in here. Okay, Mark, when I'm setting up profit levels and such, I am looking for number one. Here, let's go back to SPY on this, just because I feel like It's easier because there's so much more trades and stuff that you can see. SPY, I'm going for the 1 minute chart. Let's go for a 30-minute week chart. Boom. Okay, this is SPY. What we're seeing here, the green line is the price of SPY. Anytime it has a V, that is a reversal. So it dips and then it goes up. So that's a reversal point. And so what we're looking for is all these different points and where they generally correlate. So like right here, they're generally correlating around like 603 to 625. If we go to the candles, we can see the tips of these candles here are the high and low. So you have your open and your closes, and then you have your highs and your lows. That's what the wicks are, and that's what the actual body of the candles are. So when you see here, you have open, high, low, close. On this one, we have a high of 610. We have a low of 609.40. So 609.40 is the low. And we're basically just looking for any of these that stand out, but then are also coordinated. So like right here, we have two. We have one here. We have one here. So we could say, hey, this is a support level because it tends to bounce off that line. So right here, boom, and right here, it's bouncing off of this. Same thing for a resistance level. We try to find these. Try to find these levels that are bouncing off. So right here, there's a level, and then it also kind of coordinates with this one. Kind of coordinates with this one. Maybe I can find a better example of it. Let me do this. Let's go this way. Right here's a pretty easy one to see. These are all basically bouncing off the same level, the same area. Boom, boom, boom. They're all bouncing off this around 605.57. And so that's going to be an area of resistance. We go back here even a little farther, and they're still kind of around the same area. So that's going to be a strong level of resistance, even back all the way here to, once again, it's off that, generally off that same level. So this is why we're calling these a level of resistance, because that's where the price is generally turning around every time it hits that point. And then when it finally breaks through, then it uses that same price as a bounce to go up higher. So that's kind of how we find it doesn't have to be a mathematical number. Honestly, I tend to round mine like 608 or 608.50 or 608.25. But yeah, honestly, you're just looking for the common areas where they bounce. And it doesn't have to be more difficult than that. I mean, some people will say, oh, there's a mathematical way you calculate this, you calculate that. Honestly, I tend to see that I don't tend to see that way. Um, Going back here to SPY, looks like we are still pushing up a little bit, quite a bit slower. But we're about to enter this buy cycle here on the 5 minute, so something to keep in mind. And we are gaining volume as we enter this, so this is going to be really interesting. And now, as we watch, we're just going to see a general gradual increase on the 5 minute chart, probably up to about 60s to 70 area before we start seeing that sell off again. Not a problem, Mark. Appreciate you for asking those questions. I know there's several people tuned in right now who may find this helpful, so we're happy that you guys are tuning in and happy that you're asking questions. So, all right, let's take a look here. We are nearing the SMA 200, which is a bounce back. We know that. But we're starting to see a crossover on the 5 minute chart into a buy cycle. So if this MACD crosses over, who knows? We may see it push through the 200 EMA, which is going to be interesting. Looking at the 1 minute, we've got quite a bit of ways to get to the 200 SMA, though. I said EMA. EMA stands for exponential moving average. It's similar to the simple moving average. We're using the simple moving average here. The difference between the SMA and the EMA is that one is just your basic average where you add up the past periods and divide them by the amount of periods, whereas the exponential uh, adds an exponent and a weighted number to the most recent. So it's a little bit more reactive. We're using the simple moving average just for clarity. So at this point, I would not enter a trade yet. We know our direction. We know our day trend. We want to see the top though before we enter those trades. Looking at the 1 minute, looks like we're starting to be at the top. So depending on how this 5 minute chart changes, is going to decide whether we make a trade or whether we sit it out for a little bit longer. But let's go and look at the options chain. We waited because it was at $1.44. Those same ones are now $40 less expensive. They're at $1.07. Or wait, hang on, no. Where are we at? Where are we at? The 609s? $1.76. I think I've forgotten the price. What was the price? Does anybody remember what the price were? Because I remember it was trading at the 20s. Whatever. The point being, the longer we wait, generally, and the higher the price goes, generally the cheaper the option is going to be, which means that if we buy it low, we sell it high, we'll make more. So now that we're outside of the 609, buying the slightly out of the money put of 609 because we recognize it as like a we recognize it as a support level or resistance level. That would be an awesome strategy because right now it's cheaper than what the price is, so you're going to get a better fill price. Once it falls back through, it'll increase exponentially. So potentially we could buy in now. Um, Really, we want to make sure that we're at the top though before making that decision. And looking here, we're about to close the buy cycle, so we probably are at the top. And even as I said it, we're watching it move. Um, Hard to say what to do here. We're ending a sell cycle, it looks like. And yet at the same time, it hasn't quite closed, and so we're just probably best to just wait for a second. But once this closes, we'll probably see another drop. Yep, and here comes the drop. It honestly might be a good idea to buy them here. Um, it's 9:30, which is generally when that top comes. And now on the 5 we're seeing it growing up. So yeah, this is where I would buy probably, and we missed our opportunity. You can still buy them, but I would get them in as quick as possible, and they're going to go up pretty significantly. So with timing the top, once you make that decision, it's got to be a split second. So you've got to have those orders queued up and ready to fire. Um, and so generally what I do is if I'm going to buy into a position around 9:30, I'm ready at 9:30 with that order opened on my phone. As soon as I get to the point, I'm like, "Yep, I'm buying." I hit the buy button right then and there, and that helps you time the top better. Um, do we have time to still get into this trade? Probably. It's going to be a little bit higher fill. Um, you should be fine. I think this afternoon we'll see that the price drop even further, so I think we'll be good. Um, it just depends. Personally, I don't like taking long puts or long calls. I'd rather do a spread because on those spreads, I can sit and wait out longer periods of time. And I know we were up at 117. Now we're up at 111. I mean, I really don't have to do anything and just kind of let them sit. And I personally prefer that. So it it's one of those things where you do your own. If you have options level 3, this is probably the better method. If you don't and you're forced to do a long put or a long call, it's better to manage them and it's better to watch them. How long will we hold this one DTE put? I would close it this afternoon. So I would wait till you get profit and take like 5% profit as soon as you get it. You don't want to hold it overnight for sure. You could, but probably just not a good idea. It's safer to sell it and get rid of it sooner rather than later. And the reason being is when you're selling premium, you have the benefit of time decay. So like if I'm a car dealership owner and I sell a car, like you drive it off the lot and it loses 20%. If you come back at that point, it's a used car and I can buy it back for a fraction of the cost. In the same way, when I sell a put or sell a call, I'm selling an option. Whoever buys that has to deal with the depreciation and value. Whereas I just get the money up front. And then if I choose to buy it back later, I can buy it back at a discount. Um, I made the comment in the chat yesterday about this. The only time that's not really a good comparison is if, say, you're selling Porsches and that Porsche um, becomes, like a limited edition item, and then it's worth millions of dollars. At that point, you lose the opportunity of being able to buy that back, and so you gain the max opportunity loss. But it's not that big of a deal because you have a defined loss that you're comfortable with when you open that trade. So generally, if you're going to sell like an option contract, you're safer as long as you don't sell classic cars. Will be good. Okay, we have one more short sell cycle here. Um, here's where I was saying, if we waited one more cycle, we could potentially get a better fill. Depending on how fast this closes and goes into a green cycle, we could see a little bit higher and better fill options on those puts. Um, that's just kind of a, it's just kind of a, it's just kind of a, you know, it's kind of a toss up sometimes. Did I get the best fill just now, or if I wait, 5 minutes, will I get a better fill, or will it just absolutely rocket or drop out from under me? And so generally it's best just to take what you can get and then to hold it based on what the chart movements are doing. Um, it all depends on what's in your trading plan. But that actually brings me to a really, really good point because you need to have a trading plan. If you're trading, you need to have a entry and exit plan before you place any of those trades. It's really important. You need to know the levels, the amounts you're willing to risk, the entry and exit strategy. Um, those are super, super important. Let's take a look at the 30 seconds here. Because I'm interested, because this is trading sideways a little bit here. I'm interested to see what's going to happen here. Looks like we are going to end this sell cycle shortly. Might go back up. I don't really see it going up that far. Yeah, I don't really see it going up very far. So I think we'll have a short buy cycle again, and then I think we'll dip back into another sell cycle. So probably 1 o'clock today, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. We're probably going to see another dip, and that'd be the optimal time to sell those for a profit. Currently up 115, 116 for the day. And generally, I also like to keep an eye on the news. And so, if you buy a 0DT and it expires at the end of the day, does that count as a day trade? Yes, it does. Actually, if you're using Robinhood, they probably won't let you um, hold it to the end of the day. They'll probably take it about 3 o'clock or 3:30 on the day it expires, and they'll close it for you. So that's something to be aware of. A lot of brokers will do that to manage risk, since they're the one who are on the on the hot seat when it comes to filling that trade. And so if it's way out of the money, or if it's if you're buying it on margin and it's not going to be a profitable trade, they may close that for you, and that's their right as the broker. But yes, the fact of the matter is, if you buy it and you close it same day, or if you buy it and it expires at the end of the day, that counts as a day trade because it's a open and close cycle. Conversely, if you buy it the day before and then you close it the next day, then open a new one, that does not count as a day trade. So it's not if you buy and sell the same stock. It's if you have uh, if you open and close the same equity option, whatever. If you open and close it in the same day. So if you open one, close it the next day, open another one that same day, then you'll be fine and it won't be a day trade. Yeah, so as I was saying, I do like to check news and stuff throughout the day as well. So we'll take another look. It looks like the people who bought Walmart are out of luck. 6% down today. There was a lot of talk on Wall Street bets, actually. Let's take a look here. I saw this was really interesting, but Walmart was a very, very popular topic yesterday on Wall Street bets. I like this daily discussion thread, but yeah, a lot of people were talking about Walmart. Walmart's down 5.77%. All these people, this is, I don't know. I don't know that I don't know that I like following this just because it can be funny sometimes, but there's a lot of bad information out there. Just went for 4%, didn't want to push my luck. Yeah, that's always safer, honestly. 4 or 5%, take your profits and call it a day. 5% a day. Actually, I made a comment about this in, I think, in the chat earlier in the week. But basically, I'm working on an article right now, and it talks about the compounding power of 1%. And basically, the gist of the article is that if you make 1% trades every single day, at the end of a year, with about, I think it's like 250 trading days or something like that, you can have about 37 times, not 37%, but 3,700% gains in 1 year if you're making 1% every day. And so it's like, you know, do I push for the 50% gains, or do I push for safer, smaller gains and just let them compound? So I'm working on something, some information, some numbers, some statistics. I'm gonna write an article about it, and I'll post that in the Discord and also put it on the website on Free the Trade. And just, it's more about the trader mentality, just to remind us not to be greedy, not to go for the big gains, but to go for consistent gains rather that are safer. But yeah, as I was saying on this, it's a lot of fun to like monitor, because there'll be some people who will talk about different trades they're doing, and it's good to see kind of what's going. Like this right here, SPX sub 6100. We could see SPY drop another 0.5%. What he's talking about right now is the futures. So if you look right here, the S&P 500 futures, it's dropped quite a bit. That's going to translate, and here we go. You can see that the drop. So whoever bought puts, your puts are probably going to start printing pretty shortly. But there's every once in a while you'll get some good information. Anyways, these are kind of all the popular stocks that everyone's talking about on Wall Street Bets. I don't like their trading strategy. I don't like their a lot of their research. I do my own research, but it's kind of fun to keep up and see what everyone else is trading. They don't have a very high opinion of me. They don't. They tend to think that it's really funny. Good call on the sell cycle. Just got out 15%. That's awesome, dude. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. Um, Congratulations. I love to see it when people make money. As I was saying, the Wall Street Bets, they I is it still okay to get on the puts? Let's take a look at the charts. Probably not a great time to right now, just because we're ending a sell cycle here. But it looks like this one's deepening, so it just depends, man. Um, Honestly, I would just wait. I would wait because there's always tomorrow. Tomorrow the stock market's going to be open. Things are going to be changing. It'll probably drop more tomorrow because it's the end of the week and people don't like to hold stuff over the weekend. I don't, at least. So we could probably get in right now. Um, you're probably better off to wait until tomorrow, though. I find that the 9:30 a.m. trade is like just such a perfect sweet spot. You have a trend for the day. You have plenty of time the same day, and it just tends to work out really well for me. And so that's what I prefer trading. You can trade any time of the day, but I find that this is really consistent. So I would probably sit this one out and just check it tomorrow. And that's kind of why we're doing these too. I want people to be able to see, like, I'm not I'm just a regular guy. Um, I have processes and checklists that I do, and I'm willing to share those. But really, I'm in Central Time. The best process is the one that you make yourself because you know it better than anyone else, and you can hold yourself accountable to it. So I don't mind teaching and I don't mind telling people about what I do, but really the best thing to do is just to learn it for yourself and then have your own trading plan. That's the most important thing. If you don't learn anything else, have your own trading plan. Make it. It's not hard to do. This one right here, I made for the $30 option account. Super simple. I spend. Let's see. I put $30 into the account. I trade credit spreads on SPY. Um, I do not risk more than 50% of my capital in any trade, and I try to risk only 5%. Um, if my stop loss hits a negative 50% of a premium trade, I take out and I end the trade. I put 30% of all profits into stable investments, usually dividend stocks or something like that. And so at this point, because I've done that, let's take a look at my Robinhood again. On this $30 account, here's what we've done. Let's see, options. Okay. So on this, here are my positions. So from $30, I now have this average fill price, market value. All right. So I have $80 into this. I have almost $80 in this. I have almost $80 in this, almost $80 in this, and almost $80 in this. And these are all this is real estate right here, these two, where basically they pay me a monthly dividend. And then JetQ, that's another dividend stock. YBTC is like SPY, but it's a covered call strategy. And the or no, this is a Bitcoin strategy, covered call strategy. And then the XYLG is SPY, covered call strategy. And so what's happening is, let me see. On this right here, look, every single week, let's see, declaration date. I want to see the most. This doesn't look like it's this doesn't look like it's up to date. Let's see. I don't want to show my, my Robinhood account. It's going to be embarrassing. I want to show the account number. Let's see. Maybe we can do this. XLY. Let's see. Let's do. See. Okay, here we go. This is actually the people who run it. So, um, top holdings, performance. Okay, yeah, distribution calendar. Check this out. So look at this. Every single week, they're paying dividends. Yes, I feel like it would dip further tomorrow. Tomorrow. I agree, but it's also a weekend, and a lot of people, especially in the afternoon, are going to sell off their positions so they don't have to hold it over the weekend. And so even if we gain throughout the day, in the afternoon, we're probably going to dip again on Friday. But that's just my gut feeling. I could be wrong, could be right. But yeah, on this Y Bitcoin that I'm putting it into, uh, every single week they're paying out. Look, 28 cents per share. 28 cents. And when you have a $30 account and you buy one share of it for $47, that means I own, at this point, I own what, like almost two shares? Yeah, so if I own two shares of that stock, then every week I'm getting almost 50 cents into my account. And on the 2.5, I would have gotten 50 cents. So that's $1 in 4 weeks off of $80. And for, a dollar is not that much, but if it's $1 a month on a $30 account, that's 1/30th of your whole position. That's a big percentage of your account. And so not only am I just doing it on this one, but I'm also doing it on other dividend stocks. So like, oh, and that one's a monthly one, and this is another weekly one, and this is another monthly one. And so what's happening is I save 30% of all my profits, I put them into these dividend stocks, and then at a certain point, I will always have $30 left in my cash balance almost every week. Like it'll keep supplying it. And if it doesn't, then I just wait a couple weeks and I'll have it. And so it's like this growth strategy. And I talk about it on Free the Trade. Let me actually pull this up. Free the Trade. And I talk about it because it's not just a hey, I'm going to get rich kind of quick kind of scheme, but I'm just developing a strategy that's sustainable and can sustain itself. And so yeah, here in this breakdown. Yeah, can you trade SPY with a small account? We can. We've established it. But I'm taking the $30 of cash. I'm making money on options. I take 30% of the profits. I put it into dividend stocks, stable investments. The dividend income pays out right into my cash balance. I don't drip it. I put it back in the cash balance. And so because of that, I'll always have my $30 in cash that I started with. And now I also have $400 or maybe even more, $500 of holdings in these stocks. And so like I could lose my entire cash balance, but I won't lose this 500 because I'm not trading with it. It's just sitting there. Hey CEO, yes, you missed the trade. We did puts today. I actually didn't trade because I had opened swing trades for Friday, which we are up $135 today, which is amazing. And we've had several people close for 5% profit, 15% profit, and so on. So we did miss the trade. Usually their trades are going to go in at around 9:30. I think today it was a little later at 9:36 or so. But we did good. We did puts at 609, I believe, which they're probably printing pretty well right now. We also talked about a swing trade. Oh, let's actually go back to that because we didn't really. So yeah, if we do a swing trade, I got off for 10 minutes. Oh no. That's okay. That's okay. We can talk about swing trades because I know a lot of people are interested in swing trading. So let's do that. Um, let's look here. Honestly, a good swing trade, we could probably enter at like 610, 610, 11 call credit spreads. We could also pull that back to like a 611, 612, or even a 613, 14, which is what I have in for Friday. Um, and that is doing really well. I opened it up yesterday, but it is up quite a bit right now. Total of 135 up. Let's see. I want to see this in a different light. Group by. There we go. All right. So yeah. So now we can see, like actually how it's working. So this is a SPY call credit spread. It is up 70% right now, $62 total. This one is a SPY call credit spread. It's up 80% for $55 total. And what I intend to do with these is honestly just let them expire. Unless we go above 611, I'm going to end 100% profitably. And even if I end above 611, if unless it goes above like 611, I believe 611.35 or 611.50, I'm still going to make money on this. So it's better just to let it expire. I could close it right now, but I don't think I will. Swing 611, 612 for Friday. Yeah, you could. Or 6, yeah, you could. It's not going to be as profitable as it was earlier in the day, but you could do that. You could also do like a 613 or 614 if you want to be a little bit safer. Or you could even go out farther to like a 615, 616 or something like that. But you're going to be opening a call credit spread, which means you sell a 613 call and you buy a 614, or you sell a 611 and you buy a 612. But yeah, these are my positions that I have open right now on the options side. We're doing pretty good. I think we're doing pretty good for the day. And if you wait just a second, we're looking at the charts right now, and it's pushing up again. You might get an even better fill price, and you might be able to fill at 609 again because it looks like we're doing a little bit of a bull run here. So yeah, at this point, looking like it's starting to dip again. If we take a, oh, we're on the 30 seconds, aren't we? Let's take a look at the minute. You might have a little bit more upside. It just depends. It's hard to say for sure. Really, we need another candle or two to be able to tell for sure what's going to happen. Looking at the 30, it's looking pretty promising to go up a little longer. But yeah, if you could enter now, we would be a little bit of a higher before it dips again. So waiting for it, waiting for it. Really, the best thing. See, we've got a golden cross appearing. We're in the middle of a buy cycle. We're at about a 50%, so we have probably, we have a little bit of upside here, but it also could turn back around since we're 607, 607. I don't know. It's hard to say. Hard to say. We're higher up on the RSI. This might be the top. We might have another pullback and then a slightly more, but we're starting to lose volume already, so I think we're at the top. Yeah, I think that would be the best time to enter right now. At least for now. Later in the afternoon, it might go up more and we could get a better entry. But for now, if you're wanting to enter right this second, do I recommend it? Not a day trade for sure, no. A swing trade would be okay for Friday. I think there's better fills, but you can enter. That's the thing. And there you go. You would probably be profitable now if you did enter. I don't know if you did or not, but you probably would be profitable right now. I kind of want to close out these positions. Just they're really call credit spread. Yes, call credit spread where you sell a higher priced premium call and you buy a cheaper call. And basically your profit is going to be the difference in between those levels. And once again, just as a disclaimer, I'm not a licensed professional advisor. Have considered getting that, but I have not done it to this point. Um, and so, any of these trades and such that you guys enter, you guys are the ones holding that risk, and we aren't guaranteeing any of these returns. So, I said you could do a 609, 610 for 221. Personally, that's a little bit close since it's still bouncing back up to 609. I entered in at a 611, 612, and a 613 and 614. Interactive brokers. I've used them in the past. I don't think I currently use them. I think we're doing pretty good today, guys. Yeah, I would do it for Friday 21st. And what that does is it expires on Friday, but you can close it out before then. I would close it out Friday sometime before it expires, unless it's just like unless SPY's at like 602 or something. Yeah, if you want SPY or I'm sorry, if you want level 3 options, what you need to do is you go into your Robinhood app, you unlock it, and then you're going to go over to the profile in the bottom right. It's the little person. Then you'll go to the three horizontal lines in the top left corner and click that. And then you're going to hit investing. It's the first top or the first option there at the top. And you're going to scroll about midway down and it'll say options trading and then it'll say options settings. You'll click on that and then you should be able to apply for level 3 options there on that screen. When you click that button, what it's going to do is it's going to set up a ticket on Robinhood's side. They're going to reach out to you and give you a call, schedule a call with you, and they're going to test your knowledge on level 3 options plays. You're using interactive brokers. Okay, that's perfectly fine. They probably have a level 3 options. I'm not familiar with their particular policies around it, but they'll probably have something similar, an application process. You apply for level 3 options. They may ask you to explain, hey, what do you know about credit spreads? Or hey, what do you know about iron condors? Or something like that. And you'll need to be able to express your understanding of those options to them. Or some of them just allow you, I think it's Weeble. You just apply, and if you meet a certain risk ratio or risk reward ratio for them, they're like, okay, cool. And they don't even test you or anything. So, personally, I recommend understanding it enough that you can pass that test because if you understand kind of what's going on with them, then you're more likely to be successful while trading them. And if not, I would recommend getting a paper trading account and trading them until you understand them. Just because that's just going to be safer. If you don't have to lose a lot of money to learn, that's probably the best idea, right? You just practice on a paper trading account before doing it in real time. I wish I had done that. I'll be honest. When I first got into options, I was familiar with them, familiar with what they were. I they were really cool, but I didn't really know much about them. And so the first time I made an option trade, my friend was like, "Hey, you should do this trade with me." I'm like, "Okay, let's do it. I want to learn options. You do options. Let's figure it out." And so he placed this trade. I placed it with him, and it was a call. It was for like it was a way, way, way long call. Like I'm talking, it was probably a leap option, honestly. like a year long. And the guy, my buddy, he exited the trade like 2 weeks into it and just totally didn't even mention, hey, I exited that trade. And so here I am, newbie option trader, and I'm just holding this long call, and I didn't know that it would expire. And so like at the end, it's like, hey, do you want to exercise this option? And I'm like, huh, what does that mean? And if not, it's gonna be worthless. And I'm like, well, I don't have enough money to exercise this option, and I don't know what's going on. And so I lost all that money on that option. And my buddy later, I asked him about it. He's like, oh yeah, he said it turned around on us pretty quick, so I hit my stop losses and I jumped out. And I was like, wait, what? And you let me sit here for like 3 months, 4 months, um, down negative 70% on this option, and then it finally expired and closed, and I lost everything I put into it. And he was like, oh, I forgot you were in it. And I was like, oh. But I learned a lesson. It was an expensive lesson, but I learned a lesson. And I started doing some research, started looking into options, and Robinhood has some great learning features, learning articles and things. But really, when I started looking into like the hedge funds and started reading the textbooks about it, that's when I really started learning. And so, over a period of about 4 years, I studied and read up on options, made a couple of trades, and then now here I am, and I do almost, I mean, pretty much every trading day I'm trading at least one spread. But this particular $30 option challenge I've been doing for 4 years, and I've 1 year earned 16,000. I think that was like 2022 maybe. Um, Last year I only did it for like 4 weeks or 2 months or something like that. I was super I didn't really keep up with it because I didn't have the accountability of everyone wanting to know about it, and I didn't have yeah, I just didn't keep up with it, and I made about 1,600 or 1,650 or something like that. And then this year we're up. Right now we're up whatever this is. So yeah, we're up 130 today, so about 669. That's kind of my story there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go ahead and start to wrap things up here. It's 10:10. We anticipate these going to about 10:30, and then closing them off at 10:30. So if you have any questions about today's trades, if you have anything you'd like us to go over before we end, maybe any tickers that you want us to research live, go ahead and post those in the chat. Send us a message on Discord. We're watching both of them right now, and yeah, we'll hit those, and then we'll log off and sign off for the day. But yeah, I really feel like this was a pretty cool. I don't know. It's the first time we've ever done this. It's pretty fun. I think I'm learning a lot. You guys are saying y'all are learning a lot too, so that's a lot of fun. And yeah, we've had good trades today. We had a person make $100. We had I'm up 135. We had someone else post in the chat they were up 15%, 5%. Let's look at ATYR. I'm actually going to take you through my research process. Let's do that. I think that'll be good. All right. Researching. So, when it comes to researching a stock ticker, I like to do a um I have a checklist I go through. Generally, I like to look at the financials, I like to look at the industry. I like to look at kind of all the different things about what makes that stock good. And then once I like the stock or like the company, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to invest in this because I like the company, then I'll take a look at the charts. So the first part of the research is really just figuring out who the company is and what they do. So here we go. Attire Pharma. Good place to do some financial research and just a good overview of what a company is Yahoo Finance or Google Finance. They're both really good. Um, Another good one is probably Weeble. I love Weeble actually. Actually, let's do it in Weeble because there's some good stuff in here. All right. Boom. So right off the bat, Webull gives us the ticker, the price, its percentage gains, loss for the day. A good little overview of the 52-week high. So it's trading a little bit below. 52-week low is 1.4. It's quite a bit above that. Here we go. It's a clinical stage biotechnology company. They use intelligence to translate tRNA into new therapies. Okay. All right. So it's a bio company. Let's see where are they located. Here's some information about their executives or their teams. If you really wanted to research this, you could look these people up and like, hey, who is okay? And you could look at his LinkedIn, see, his yeah, I'll show those. Actually, I'll post those in the dividend stocks. I'll post those in the Discord, and then I'll also show them to you in a little bit again. But we can look into the leadership of the company to see if they have a good track history, see what their work. We could do like a whole analysis on the leadership. Um, we can look at the analyst ratings. Right now, they're saying it's a strong buy. Um, a lot of them are saying it's a strong buy. Here's their average price target. They're saying, hey, it could be anywhere from $9 to $35. Right now, it's trading at um, a $4.19 price. So here's the institutions. There's 56 institutions who are currently buying or holding it. 12 of them have decreased positions. Here's the amounts. So it looks like there's a lot of selling going on right now, probably taking profit. Here are their actual earnings versus their estimated earnings. It looks like they've been somewhat profitable these 2 quarters, but then they still have an estimate out for quarter four. Let's see, corporate actions. Nothing about this. So corporate actions, sometimes you can see if they're doing dividends, if they've done like a stock split, or if there's insider trading going on. Okay, they haven't really had a stock split for dilution. Here's some stuff that you can look into. Right now they're selling and taking profit, a lot of them. Interesting. You can see kind of what price action they're doing, and then what price they're filling it at. Let's see if they have press releases. They do. Here's financials. Here's the insider releases. They have to release these to the SEC whenever they make a trade, if they're associated with it. Here's their income statement. Looks like this is a little bit out of date. They brought in 10.46. See their net income. So they're getting more profitable. That's good. Balance sheets. These look like they're out of date. I don't know why it's showing 2021. That's interesting. I kind of want to see what the most recent ones are, but I'll just give you my initial. Here's options that are available on it. See the news. Here's some price targets announced at $16 by these analysts and these brokerages, different firms. Here's some studies they're doing. They're saying, hey, here's maybe some research that we found, or here's something that, hey, we've here's a breakthrough we've just made in the lab, and here we think that we're going to be able to do this and that or whatever. So yeah, you can just kind of go through and kind of get a good understanding of what they do, who they are, how the company's running, and then any news and stuff, and then you can go to the charts. So personally, I don't like biopharma or any of the biotech or medical stocks, just because they tend to be more volatile. They can go up really high, but they can also go down really high, and they're like very dependent on governmental regulations. Like the FDA says something, and the next day that stock's down 20% or 100%, and it's crazy. But I just personally like to stay away from them. I like SPY because it's stable. But if we were wanting to do it, we could say, okay, I like the company. How long do I want to hold a stock for? So they're saying $9 price target. Let's take a look at the charts. Okay, boom. All right. Previously, this stock has hit a $13 rating. What is the $9 rating, which is the low one? Okay, down here. So that was back in 2021. Okay, so it's been a while since they've been up there. And they've had a couple different other areas. I'm looking at this. You know, this could potentially be a good entry. Let's take a look on this. We're going to go with a week intervals. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, we're entering a buy cycle. We're high up. We're a little overbought. Is it a good entry now? Could be. Probably good. Probably would wait a little bit lower. Maybe get in. Maybe try to get in like a 275 or around $3 or $2, 250 or $3, 275, $3. So we're entering. We're probably going to enter a sell-off cycle soon. So if we do that, I would be looking for an entry. If not, we've got exits at 435. We've got another one at like 660. We've got more at like 8. So yeah, I could see 9 being a target. Is it going back up to 13 or 35 like they said? Um, I probably don't see it going up there. It's at least not for a long time. Right here, this is a 5-year chart, I think is what we were looking at. Yeah, this is a 5-year chart. So I'm saying that we're probably going to have to hold this for a couple years. So if I'm going to hold this for a couple years, I mean, this is the 1 year. Yeah, I'm going to want to get in at like a 280, 275 price if I'm going to hold that long, and I'm going to be willing to hold it. So that's how I would do research. I would say, okay, my price target's 285, and I'm willing to hold for 3 years, 5 years, however long, until we see the $9, and then I'm going to exit at that amount. And so that's how you would do a research on a stock. Now, if you wanted to do calls on that, you could take a look at their calls. I don't know if they have them on this. I think they did. Yeah, options. So if we're doing options on this one, since it's such a far time period until we see those price targets, we're gonna have to go way out. So I'm looking for at least a year. We can go all the way out to 2027, so a couple years out. I'm okay with that. Let's see here. And 420. I mean, what's the price on that? $1.25 per contract. It's about $125 to enter this. I mean, if you got $125 and you want to throw it at this company for the next 2 years, you could do that. It's up to 2 cents per stock or per share, so that's not bad. You would be making money on this. I would see this as a reasonable trade. As long as you have the confidence that that company is going to last the next 5 years and they're going to continue to gain in price, then totally go for it. Personally, I like to stick to trading and I like to stick to SPY, so that's my take on it. MIGX design. Here are the dividend stocks we're doing. We've got ADC, which is like a real estate. It's a growth real estate, so they pay out monthly dividends, and yeah, basically they pay out dividends every month based on the rent that they're being paid. So they give you a share of that. And then O, it's called realty income. O is another realty that pays out monthly. JEPQ, that's a dividend stock. I'm trying to remember. I think it's the JP Morgan Nasdaq Equity Premium Income ETF. That's an ETF. I'm pretty sure it has a monthly dividend. It has a 9.25% yield. I don't know if that's annual or monthly. Probably annual. Okay, yeah. So basically, they're selling call options. It looks like a non-diversified. Basically, so you remember how we're doing let's see, how we're doing cash or call credit spreads and stuff. They're basically doing that too, and they're paying you the money they make as dividends. I wonder, is this a monthly? How often are the dividends? I don't remember. This is a good. I chose this one because it has a good yield. I don't know how often they. I don't remember how often they pay them out. Yeah, so they're every month and has a yield of about 9.49% in dividends, or $5.55 per share per year. So if I own, 2 shares of that one, then I'm making $11 a year off of that one, and then I'm making, you know, how much ever I'm making off of these other ones a year. And so you can see why I've chosen those dividend stocks to pay back into my portfolio for the $30 account, because it's like a infinite money glitch. I mean, it's not, but it is. This Y Bitcoin or YBTC is a covered call Bitcoin strategy, and basically they pay out a weekly dividend. I mean, it's up. It follows the price of Bitcoin, and then they pay out weekly dividends, which is pretty cool. Let's see, the XYLG. I believe that's the SPY. Yeah, S&P 500 covered call and growth ETF. Basically, they're trading SPY every day, and they're paying you out a weekly dividend. So that's another cool one. It's probably going to be down today because SPY's down today. But if they're doing covered calls, they're making money back, so they should be fine. Let's see what else we have. ADC and O. I already talked about these, but just to show you what they are. This is the Realty Income monthly dividends. Dividend yield of 5.61%. I believe that's annually. And then I think it's ADC, which is agree. Yeah. I'm having some trouble here. Let's try that. Boom. Okay, Agree Realty Corporation. Um, so this right here, this is the company that owns like the land that Lowe's is sitting on. So like if Lowe's, which is a home goods store and like a handyman carpentry store, you buy wood and hardware and stuff from. Um, like Lowe's is renting some of the property and buildings from them. This is the company behind. I think Walmart too, actually. Let's see. Let's see. I was trying to. So it's like Citrix. No, hang on. I want to see. I was in their shareholder call like a month ago, and I don't know. I know Lowe's is one of them. I think maybe Target and Walmart as well, or Aldi. I don't remember, but they're basically buying up all these different lots and then like renting them to commercial businesses. And so it's not like someone's renting apartments, but no, these are companies, and so it's pretty consistent income. It's a monthly dividend. I like it a lot, so I think it's a good fit for this portfolio. Other than that, I have a couple small shares. It's just not really anything of Bitcoin and stuff. I really wish I could close these out just because they're such small amounts. If you look at the market value, it's 1 cent or 0 cents. It's just crypto dust on this account. And then other than that, we've got our spreads, and then we have this, which I accidentally opened. So don't follow that trade. That was not an intentional opening. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for today. Once again, this is DK 305007. This is Free the Trade, and this has been the SPY analysis. We're up $134. $133 now. And I think this is going to be an end. So thank you, everyone who tuned in. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I guess we'll see you next time on Free the Trade. Y'all have a great rest of your day.